Just about a perfect autumn evening in Charlotte, North Carolina. Temperature in the mid-50s. Full house, Bank of America Stadium, as they greet their Carolina Panthers coming out onto the field to meet Coach Bill Parcells and his Dallas Cowboys on NBC's Sunday Night Football. Al Michaels along with John Madden, Andrea Kramer. Welcome to Charlotte. Big game for both teams. The season approaching the halfway mark, and the loser of tonight's game will have 4 losses, and that's a lot at the end of October as they head down the road toward the playoffs. Now, as far as Carolina is concerned, they began the season with 2 straight losses, then won 4 in a row, lost a heartbreaker to Cincinnati last week. They're 4-3 and trailing New Orleans and Atlanta in their division. The Dallas Cowboys, meanwhile, 3-3, a humiliating defeat on Monday night to the New York Giants. And, of course, the huge story, the big story all week long, quarterback. And quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys is one of the regal positions in all of American sport. John, they make the change. It's more than changing Drew Bledsoe for Tony Romo. It's more than changing the experience of Bledsoe and exchanging it for Romo's mobility. How do you see the bigger picture here?
Well, I think the bigger picture, when Bill Parcells did that, he had to think that this is a permanent thing. He's not going to try it for a while and go back to Drew Bledsoe. He is putting this team in Tony Romo's hands. But, you know, I watched the film of last week's game, and if Tony Romo's going to have a chance, everyone else is going to have to play better, too. I mean, the offensive line didn't block well. The receivers didn't get open. And if they're going to win tonight, Tony Romo is going to need a lot of help from his teammates.
And they're going up against a very good defense, the Carolina Panthers. Big game, of course, for Carolina tonight as they try to go to 5-3. So what did they do about the Dallas quarterback change, and what gives them the best chance to win tonight's game?
Yeah, I talked to them during the week and watched them practice, and they said that they're just practicing and getting ready to play the Dallas Cowboys and not the quarterback. But knowing them, if you look at the Panther defense, the strength of that team is their defensive line. And they put on a big pass rush. So I think that's 2 things. 1, they're going to go after Tony Romo big time. And 2, they're going to disguise all their defenses, not play what he thinks they're playing.
Another thing we'll see tonight, some great Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte, North Carolina. The Carolina Panthers came into the NFL as an expansion franchise in 1995 and got to the NFC Championship game the next year. Played in the Super Bowl 3 seasons ago, thanks in good measure to that man, Jake Delhomme, who had been in New Orleans, didn't play there, came here, and now he's a Pro Bowler. Let's go to Andrea Kramer.
Well, I walked off the field with Tony Romo after the pregame warm-ups. I said, what's going through your mind? He said, a lot of excitement. I'm just anxious to get going. I said, what are you going to do in the last few minutes before you come out? He said, I'm just going to pretend like it's practice, go through my reads, and just make my final adjustments.
Met with him yesterday. I think Bill Parcells summed him up perfectly. He said, confident, but not cocky. A very engaging guy, and he'll get a few extra minutes to think about it because Carolina is going to start with the ball. Mike Vanderjagt, the ex-Colt, to kick off. Richard Marshall to run it back for the Panthers. Marshall is a rookie from Fresno State. John Fox, now in his 5th season, formerly the defensive coordinator for the New York Giants. Bill Parcells, his 4th season at Dallas, and here we go from Charlotte, North Carolina.